Yeah, and change your behavior so that you're not transmitting it. Don't think about changing your behavior so you won't get it. Think about changing your behavior so you don't give it to somebody else.
Well, that was.
And we just lost John's audio again.
No way.
No
way.
Yeah, there. You're in and out. You're stay close to the mic.
I'm right on top of
it. No. Yeah, I understand. It's not your. Anyway, let's. We're having massive technical difficulties tonight. We're not really sure what it is. Welcome to the Taxi Stand Hour, the delayed edition, quarantine edition, here on Radio TFI. I am Ed Van Ness. I am also the guy banging his head up against the wall. John Shannon may or may not be with us. He's here. You can see his picture on the TV. John, let's speak. What do you got, pal?
I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you here.
I can hear you clear. Pretend like we're doing a show.
Is that what we're supposed? Is that what this is?
This is
Good Lord, man.
We're going into OT tonight.
Oh, we are going to go into OT with this. Huh?
Well, we're going to go to 10:15. We're going to go to 10:15.
Okay. Well, it's good because I actually had a couple things I wanted to talk about, believe it or not.
And this is presuming that we make it that far. So let's take it from the top. Professor Medley has just said his thing. Do your thing, John.
Welcome, everybody, to yet another edition of the Taxi Stand Hour Quarantine Edition here on Radio TFI and the Radio TFI Network for this Thursday, October 1st. 2020. If this is the way October is going to start in true 2020 fashion, that's it. I am going to I'm sailing off to the Caribbean. Screw it. I don't care. Vote. I will leave a ballot behind. It might not be my ballot, but I'll leave a ballot behind. And oh my God, I swear. You know what and the worst part about this is when it comes to this whole thing, I hate to, by the way, I'm sorry. From the Northern Command Studio, Eagan, Minnesota, I'm John Shannon, yada, yada, yada. From the palatial Radio TFI
dumpster fire.
I was going to say backyard barn in Queens, New York. It's Mr. Ed Van Ness, yada, yada, yada. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, kids and kittens, yada, yada, yada.
Oh,
I'm going to be quite honest with everybody here. I don't know what happened. All the settings were where they should be. When we turn off last night's show, we don't touch a thing. All of John's settings remain the same. Everything here at Master Control remains the same. I know where switches and dials need to be, and that's where they go. And yet, when we came on, it was another one of those nights where John slid into his seat about 3-4 minutes out and then got up and slid out again and showed back up 30 seconds before we were going on the air.
Yeah,
at that point,
if I hadn't have slept out, or if I hadn't
it doesn't matter,
out of that.
John, it doesn't matter. I'm not blaming you. I'm just explaining what happened. And then he couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear him. There was no audio whatsoever. We tried going on the air and I'll be quite honest, I'm not really sure how we resolved the problem.
I don't either.
I
think he tightened a loose nut behind the wheel personally, but
well, that may. Gil, have you been over here at my desk again? Again, that doesn't mean what you think it means. So,
oh my God.
So, anyway,
and the worst part, the worst part about it is because anybody that's known me long enough here knows me, cool, calm, and collected. When have you in 3.5+ years that you and I have been doing this? When have you ever seen me lose my cool?
None that I can think of, really. That's
the only
my thing.
time I got so seriously pissed off. I took a month's hiatus from this.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So that's that is.
But that's you.
Yeah, well, and sitting here watching him. Oh my! This is strictly for the benefit of our video audience here. Oh my God! if I could hear him, I'd swear it was like the third Planet of the Apes movie or some frickin' thing. Good Lord, man.
although
Jesus.
although we never did lose our video feed, so I guess
Well,
there's
this is
something
true.
there.
This is true. We
We
could
never
have
did
sat
lose
here and
that.
did what's it called?
Pantomime,
Pantomime, or silent movies.
charades.
Or,
Well, that's what I was trying to do with you, sir. I was trying to get your attention, but
you had my attention, but I didn't know what the hell you were trying to say.
well, that's not my fault.
You know what? We see this device right here. See this little thing right here. You know what? We tell our listeners all the time. You want to get a hold of us? Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Give us a call.
I
By the way,
did pick up the phone.
754. Is this working now? 754-800 chat. All bets are off at this point in time.
Yeah.
If nothing
Yeah.
else, leave a message. If you don't, nobody answers, leave a message. Send a tweet.
Send a
Taxi Stand Hour.
Send a telegram. Western Union can use the business.
Yep. Oh.
Oh,
So-
well, I guess that'll do it for tonight. See ya.
Yeah, there you go. I ain't made any money yet tonight, though. So
Wait a second. Before we get out of this completely, I just want to point out, since you're throwing me under the bus here, I feel obligated.
I'm
to do the same.
waiting to turn the bus around.
Who was the one that said, "Well, let's just drop it for the night. We're done."
I've got a nice, maybe a little bigger bowl of Cold Stone Creamery waiting in the freezer for me right now.
Okay, I have one final comment. It's that damn pacemaker that's causing the problems.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen. It didn't spark. It didn't kick me. It didn't go. I don't think it's a pacemaker. I don't think. I have no
You couldn't hear
guarantees.
me.
I
remember- Go ahead.
guarantee you, if you're the one with a pacemaker, that son of a bitch had been on fire.
Oh man, that's why they don't give me a pacemaker. They put a full machinist shop in there. And remember, 7 years today. 7 years today.
Congratulations, by the way.
7 years ago, literally at 9. I remember it was almost 9 o'clock exactly when they woke me up, 9 p.m. But anyway,
He went to meet Jesus and came back with Gil.
No, that was a month before. Yeah. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Yeah. No, we found Gil. Gil found us. We found each other.
Oh man!
Gil got Mike and I through that hurricane. What can I say? It was our guiding light. It was a very dim light.
Yeah, well, I think I'd rather have Gilligan lead me through this cell light, to be honest with you.
Well,
and it does begin with Gil. So
there you go.
There you go. So today, I get if you hadn't figured it out by now, I get a lot of inspiration for the stuff I want to talk about via the social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. And of course, you get the normal ramblings of the Rod Johnsons and the Ken Coons of the world. Ken, at least there's some hope for Ken, because at least we could agree on, taxi's good, Uber bad. We can at least agree on that. So at that point in time, that is Ken Coon's saving grace. Rod Johnson, he even thinks Uber's good. So
No.
why the hell? Like I said, he helped me through a real bad time at one point in time in my life. And he has been when the gloves are, when everything is back in the locker room and we're not at each other's throats politically, he isn't that bad of a guy.
Okay.
But you'll have to take my word for it.
All right.
But the one thing that I get constantly, that I constantly hear, is typical liberal. The phrase, typical liberal. I think I might have caught him in one today. I think I might have caught him. Oh, I think I might have caught him in a little hypocrisy. I could be wrong. But So we got to talking about, he wants us to announce, the list of all the instances where a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy, stopped something bad from going down, and what have you. And I don't necessarily mind doing that, to tell you the truth, because I don't like bad guys. I'm too old for bad guys. 57 years old here, folks. I don't want to have to deal with bad guys. So if there's a good guy around the corner that can get rid of the bad guy without killing me in the same process, then hey, I'm all for it. I think that's
Easy peasy.
exactly. But so I gave him a pop quiz. I said, I told him, I said, okay, pop quiz. Where do I stand on guns? He got the answer right. I was actually proudly surprised at him. He said, right, I don't have a problem with people who have guns, as long as they can prove that they can responsibly handle it, and they can go through a background check, including a mental screening. A mental screening, by the way, that I know that I would pass, despite the fact that I've said on more than once, I have documented anger issues. And yet I'm the one that's cool. You have a hard time believing that, don't you?
Look, as far as the mental issues go, you've also aligned yourself with me for almost 4 years now. What does that say about your mental state?
And we both have no hair left.
Well, mine is by choice.
Well, it's a lot less painful to cut it than it is to pull it.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. It's somewhat therapeutic.
What I tried to explain to him is there is no such thing as a typical liberal, because quite frankly, people who call themselves liberal, at least that they have such a wide, diverse realm of interests and priorities, if you will. Some people are in for women's rights, for what's the word I'm looking for? Women's rights, including they're taking care and making decisions about their own bodies. There are LGBTQ rights. There is social. Right now, you have a problem with social justice. Too many people of color are getting killed out there. Too many people of color are losing their lives, whether it be on the streets of the cities that their cities aren't safe because there's no leadership right now. They think it is open. They think it is open season. And hi, Karen. My favorite Karen is on and waving at us. And forgive me if I missed something here, but there are a wide array. Some people consider themselves a liberal because they want good paying jobs. They want to make more. They want to make more than $15 an hour. You can't, even on $15 an hour, you could barely afford to rent a studio apartment in some hellhole part of the neighborhood, some hellhole part of the city. There are all kinds of different causes that liberals bring up. So and some people I just talking today, there are some people, African Americans, the Black Lives Matter movement, they're not real keen on gay people. Right now, they've got their own, everybody kind of has their own battle. If you understand what I'm saying on that, everybody has their own cause, their own battle. I would love to get together in one big happy camp myself and say, hey, let's agree. Let's at least stay on the same page when it comes to the fact that no matter what your cause is, Donald J. Trump has no interest in helping you with it, no matter what you may or may not believe.
And remember, the J stands for genius.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We can't forget that. We cannot forget that. So, but through all that, I actually got I got a reply from I don't know if she's young or old, because she's one of these that gets on Facebook and puts pictures of her pets on Facebook as opposed to herself. I have no idea what she looks like. She, married, single, what kind of work she does or anything like that. The only thing I do know is that this particular person, while I disagree with her, gave a very intelligent response without going, "Oh, you're a typical liberal. This. You're pro Antifa. You're pro burning down the cities. You're anti-cop. Yada yada yada." Didn't give me any of that crap. She laid it out in a very well-spoken manner, and I'd like to. It's kind of lengthy. I'd kind of like to reply to at least a few of her points on this, if that meets with the executive council here. Okay.
You're managing editor. You roll with it, man.
Okay. So her name is Marcia Campbell. So she leads off by saying, "It all comes down to you, John. Do you want to continue living in America and want to be free and make your own choices and not have government dictating what you can and cannot do? Do you want to live in a socialistic country? Because if Biden and Harris win this election, that is where we are headed." Look, I don't know. I'm sorry, Marcia, you've been listening to too many dog whistles. Joe Biden, it's been argued that Joe Biden is slightly more liberal than Barack Obama. Personally, I don't necessarily believe that, but I could be wrong. But we have never lost any of our freedoms. The only, excuse me, the only thing that has cost us to lose any of our freedoms of late has been this frickin' virus. And this has been for our own good. And I was able to work. Matter of fact, I didn't have a choice in the matter. I was one of those quote unquote necessary evils, what was that? Essential worker. So I didn't have a choice in that. I was out, except for my 2 hospital stays. I was out 3 hospital stays, excuse me.
200 days for me, man.
Yeah. I've been working, and now I'm going to work more. I'm going to start working Saturday after the show and Sunday for a couple hours if Saturday wasn't enough. Got to catch up, man. So, but I have never, no matter if it's been a Democrat or a Republican, have never felt like I've lost my freedom. I've never felt like I couldn't walk out the door, pursue my goals, my dreams, whatever it is, my way of making money. Never been told, "Hey, look, Fatso, you can't you can't do an internet radio show. Can't do an internet. It's anti-government."
Put a pin in that one. That may happen after this show.
If it happens, it's either from the mouse or baby Oliver. But never have I felt. I'm 57, damn near, or getting closer to 58. My illustrious co-host over here, this guy over here, I'll point the pen in the right direction, 61 years old.
Yes, heading quickly for 62.
Yeah, just a couple days before me.
Actually, our birthdays collide with the anniversary of this show. It's all the same week.
Oh my God, that's where our problem is. Therein lies the problem.
So anyway, Marcia, continue with your.
Okay, so Excuse me. So she said that we've had a taste of the socialism with this pandemic. No work, can't leave the home, no kid, no going out to eat, no going to the gym. Kids are stuck at the house all day, no money, no food, feed your family, socialized medicine, which can take months to see a doctor or to get a surgery. Okay,
Wrong.
and then she went on from that saying, "Why do you think Canadians come here for surgery? Because they have they have socialized medicine.
They come here
Oh,
for elective
they come
surgeries.
here for elective surgeries." That is absolutely correct. I am still, I am going to put a bug in Christine's ear at some point in time here where I want to talk to her again. A real Canadian
Eh?
who will sit down and she's been busy because of what she's had to do. She's the CEO of Beck Taxi in Toronto. She has been busy, too busy for us, whatever you want to call. But there are other. If she winds up getting to be too busy for this, but I have a couple other aces in the hole, if you will be, when it comes to Canadians I can talk to about their healthcare system. Trust me, I would love to be able to
Right.
participate in the Canadian healthcare system.
Right.
If that
There's a lot of misconceptions about that, about socialized medicine.
if that means I can't get a boob job or a nose job or something like that, I have to wait for a few weeks or months, or even might have to pay for it because not really necessary. Enhancing my chest is not really what you'd call necessary surgery. I
The
could
mouse
be
is
wrong. I
calling.
could be wrong there. You know, they are starting to sag a little.
The mouse is calling for it. But yeah, I mean, as far as socialized medicine goes, yeah, there's issues, there's problems, but every system. What do you think? Our system is ideal? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Our medical? Oh God, our healthcare system is pathetic. You know, decisions are made based on cost, not on the well-beings of the patient. I mean, come on,
Let me remind Marcia something here because it's
Marsha.
yeah, every time I hear this whole thing about Obamacare and the flaws with it, one of the most wonderful things about Obamacare is the fact there was no more cap on how much insurance benefit you would get. I guarantee you, since her botched surgery back nearly 5 years ago, over 5 years ago, excuse me, Granny Annie has literally came through well over $1 million worth of medical expenses. Well over $1 million. And
when it comes to healthcare, we should not be we shouldn't even know these numbers. This
You're
is
right.
not buying real estate or getting a fancy boat or, oh, I put $1 million into that. Great. I don't need to know how much I really don't need to know how much it costs
You're
to crack
absolutely
me
right.
open and fix me up. It is what it is. And we shouldn't have to sweat this stuff out. It's, you know, and again, I went through this when to talk about medicine for a moment. I went through this uninsured. I'll be paying that hospital something every month for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And is this the way I need to live? No. Is this the way they need to live? No. By the way, what most people don't realize is there is one segment of our healthcare that already is socialized, if you will.
And I didn't realize that until you told me about it. Go ahead.
And that is dialysis, kidney dialysis, funded 100% by the federal government. 100%. Nobody gets a bill for dialysis or anything like that. That's why you see so many dialysis centers all over the place. Why they're privately owned. But it works for them. You know, it works. It's look, we could do a week on healthcare alone, but
Right.
we already have it. We already have that little footprint. Okay, we have precedent here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what else did Marcia have to say?
Well, in the end here, and it's funny because it sure seemed like a lot more at the time when I was reading it. I actually read this like 3 different times, believe it or not. I read something. Are you
Really?
proud? Are you proud of me?
Did you read it out loud?
Well, no, but I read it enough times that it was pretty much ingrained.
Well,
And
I'm happy about that. I'm
Thank you.
happy that instead of just reading a headline
So here we
And then
go.
and then being surprised halfway through the article, oh, that's
Here-
not what it's about at all.
Yeah, here's the leap for you though. Socialized medicine, and I am not quoting her here, but in so many words, she said that socialized medicine will gradually turn into communism.
Of course it will. Everything will turn into communism.
Something like that, We'll all be
Deutschland
singing.
über alles.
We'll all be singing the Soviet national anthem here, folks. That's
And then we'll all go after moose and squirrel.
yeah. There you go. People.
I still
don't-
want to.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
People keep blowing the dog whistle about socialism, about communism. Oh dear God, man. Look, because what they forgot to mention is that the Soviet Union and other Eastern Bloc countries, we're talking back into the 70s and the 80s here, were totalitarian
That's very
societies.
good. You're on a roll tonight.
And there is where your problem is. There is where you lose your freedoms. You don't dare criticize the government for what they're doing. That has nothing to do with being socialist. That has nothing to do with being communist. Do I want to turn into a communist country? Absolutely not. I still believe in the free market system, as long as the free market isn't stooping the little guy. That's all I say. That is, do I say make it a fair market? Well, okay, you say fair market, now you're trying to pick winners and losers and blah, blah, blah. All I'm saying is that there are people, because of our upside down economy, where the top 10% are making, or top 1% is making, what is the percentage again compared to the other 99%?
It's actually 0.01% or something like that. But yeah, they're making crazy money, more than plenty to live on, blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, you got people trying to hold down 3 jobs and barely scraping by.
Exactly.
Now you can write that off to education and opportunity, but in the ideal utopian society, and this is not something I quote very often, but use as an example, but take Star Trek. In their society, in their present, in the 24th century, 25th century, there is no money anymore. There's none of that. There's no religion. Everybody lives nice and happy. There's wild technical advancements, et cetera, et cetera. And is that something we can strive for? Well, we'll never live to see that. Why? Because we don't have socialized medicine, but that's for another time. Yeah, sure. We'd all like to walk outside and the sun is shining, the birds are singing, the unicorns are crapping rainbows and cotton candy. But it's gonna be a while. But I think if you, I don't understand why we can't socialize medicine. I'll tell you the truth, and I'm not opposed to doing what other countries do, where between 18 and 21. You have to do a year or 2 of military service.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not. I really wish I had been forced to do that. Because when I turned 18, I was literally, my year of birth was in a notch where there was no draft. No draft cards, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They cut it off and then they started it up again. But anybody, I think it was anybody born in 1959, we were scot free, and it just didn't seem like an option for me at the time. But I wish I had joined the military, at least for a 3-year stint.
You mean you wouldn't have claimed bone spurs?
Well, you know what he's claiming now? Loan spurs. You walked right into it, pal. Oh, I kill me sometimes. I kill me, but
you ain't the only one.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I'm not so sure that wouldn't be a horrible thing. I don't know that I may not make it mandatory, but I would certainly make it. And I know it's something the military has done for a long time, as far as incentives to join college and all that. But I think they can boost those offers up. And and there's no reason. Look, like everything else, I think what the nation needs to offer is everybody baseline services. Okay? And then if you want to add on top of it, well, that's up to you. Like Biden saying, you can have, we'll have our public health care. You want to keep your private stuff? Keep it. Keep it. It's like having a second car. You don't have to have a second car, but you want a second car.
There may be some advantages for some people for that.
You're absolutely right. But the people get to decide. But here's the government saying, okay, here's what we're giving you. Here's what you got. Now, if you want to go above and beyond that, that's on you. That's on you. So
and now you also understand, having said that, you know that's going to cost some money. The taxes
always going to cost money.
Taxes are higher in Canada. They're considerably higher in Canada. But you know something? As a Canadian, I know I'm getting something for my money.
Here's what every Canadian can say. They've never filed bankruptcy for a medical procedure.
You're absolutely right.
And with that, what else did Marcia have to say?
That was it. I just at the time, here's the thing. It was a fresh breath. She was nice about it. She didn't get all wonky, didn't try to impress me with her twisted sense of humor or anything like that. Didn't get into name calling and stuff like that. And you know what? If you start a conversation with me like that, I will gladly carry on that conversation with her the same way. I just don't have the patience to sit here and type an answer to every one of her claims or what have you. That's why I'm part of a talk radio show 5 days a week.
Really? What is that on?
Oh, I don't know. Aren't we practicing for it now?
I think we are.
Oh my!
I think it's going. By the way, you put out a tweet this evening, sir, and as the managing editor, yeah, you did. As the managing editor of the Taxi Stand Hour and Radio TFI in general, you said something about we were going to be discussing the definition of, was it a liberal?
A typical liberal.
So do you want to go deeper into this, or are we done with that?
If you got some thoughts, and if I stepped on your thought train through this, I'd love to hear what you consider, what you would say a typical liberal is. Do you think there's such a thing as a typical liberal?
I don't think there's such a thing as a typical anything, to be quite honest.
You got a very good point.
It wasn't until relatively recently in my life that I even understood what most of these labels were. Conservative, moderate, progressive. Some of them still, I don't. Honestly, I don't think we need these labels. I think this just divides us even more. I'm a liberal, moderate conservative with a progressive bent and a wicked tee shot. I don't it's. People like to be labeled. They like to have titles, be that as it may. I honestly thought a conservative used to be a Democrat when I was younger. I thought, well, most Democrats are kind of conservative people. And The whole thing, the whole rigmarole is just silly. Typical liberal. You have extremes. You have people that I want nothing to do with.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I'm all for everybody having all their natural rights and living their best life and et cetera, et cetera. But you know what? We can take anything too far. You know, as been said in the past many, many times. Yeah, you love ice cream, but do you want a gallon of it every day?
Oh, could be talking.
Everything gets. Yeah, well, call me in 2 weeks.
when I'm back up to 275 pounds.
Not only that, but you know, it's just you just get tired of it after a while. You know, and in this country, I would hazard to say that it's the extremes that give us the most problems. The far left and the far right. These are the nutballs on both sides that give us the problems. Okay. No, we're not looking to blow up cows. And no, you know, there aren't satanic cults drinking the blood of children and yada, yada, yada. What, you know, it's enough, just enough. You know, I'll say it again. Everybody wants to have their voice heard. Some people do. Others don't. Others could care less. Guess what, kids and kittens? There's a great way to do it these days. And we're doing it right now. Everybody can have their voice heard. Even us. All right, we're practicing right now, but even us.
You're absolutely
even
right.
with just enough technical know-how to be dangerous and screw yourself up on a regular basis. You too, as in tonight. Yes, absolutely. You too can have your voice heard. Everybody's got a podcast. It was funny. It was National Podcast Day the other day. No joke, it was. And I
remember seeing that.
I saw that. I said, "There's like a gazillion podcasts out there now. Nobody's, you know, it's not that special a thing anymore."
No,
which is why we go live. Well, we started out live. The podcast is just we dump our recordings in a place. They're there if the government ever wants to investigate us.
Bring it.
Yeah, we'd love the attention.
Yeah.
we could use the publicity. But just to finish up there, I mean, you know, look, in 33 days, Election Day would have come and gone. Whether or not we have an answer, let's hope we do. Let's hope it's the landslide, and you know. But before you know it, this will all be behind us. Snow will be on the ground, hair will be back on my head. Life will be. Hopefully, we'll have a new president, or we'll be well on our way. By the way, for those of you that think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to usher in the age of socialism, what do you think Donald Trump's going to do with his second term? He's got a lot of you folks snowed. He's helping the rich. He doesn't care about you. He does not care. Even in the light of things he says out of his own mouth, how he's lying to you and cheating you. You still drop to your knees.
Watch out, you suburbanites.
Yeah.
Suburban.
I mean,
I'm getting echo here. So
okay, well, I'll go down to one voice then. How about that?
Just one.
Just one. Just the one. Well, there's so many in my head fighting to get out. Sometimes it leaks out over into John's head.
I understand.
But yeah, I mean, nobody's coming to burn down the suburbs. Me personally, I'd like to gate them off, but that's just me. Don't believe anything that he's saying, because he hasn't told the truth since the day he came down that escalator. And that's right. People have been after him since the day he came down that escalator. Why? Because he's a fraud. That's your fraud. That's your hoax. Look, when I've said it, when history tells this story, you know, when we have the luxury of time past to reflect on what has gone on here these past 4 to 5 years, it's not going to be a pretty picture. And historians hundreds of years from now will go, what were they thinking? So normally would be the time right now would be the time that the music would kick in at this time of night. But we're going into injury time. So, by the way, the officials have announced injury time will go till 10:18. 10:18. And we can't hear John anymore because he's muted his mic.
I didn't do that on purpose. I think you did it to me.
I didn't. My hands are right here.
Right. Uh-huh.
So anyway, we're 10:18. We're up.
10:18. Oh, good Lord, man! I thought you said 10:15. Now you're lying to me on top of it.
Yeah, well, it's not like I haven't done it before.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it is.
Well, goodness! Now I run out of steam here. Let's take a peekaboo here at something real quick and see if I can't find something to get real pissy about.
Well, here's something to get pissy about. We've lost one NFL game this weekend.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh and Tennessee. It's unfortunate, and I hope this doesn't. Hopefully, they've caught this in time. So, John, no, you can't pick the Steelers this weekend. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, Bubby. John is trailing, by the way, and John and Ed versus the spread by what is it? 6-4. 6-4. But he's got plenty of time. We got a big season.
Yeah. We got time we haven't used yet.
Plenty of opportunities. He's already used his 2-point conversion. And were you successful with that? I don't remember.
No,
you weren't.
No.
That's right. I made mine twice. Twice now.
You a medal or a chest to pin it on?
By the way, it's 10 p.m. straight up and down for all the networks up and down the line here on the Radio TFI network. It's 10 o'clock.
News.
Yeah. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your Gilchrist is?
Yeah. Do you know where your Gerald is?
Don't start with Gerald.
Do you know where your president is? No, he's in the shit house doing one of these numbers here. Typing his next tweet. He's catching up to me, by the way, as far as number of tweets.
I still find that shockingly hard to believe that you've tweeted more than he has. I don't know if it says more about you or him.
Well, you got to remember that I've been dabbling in either podcasts or blog talk radio or just even blogging for that matter now for 12 years. And I basically used Twitter when I first got myself familiar with Twitter. I was using that to promote everything I did. I did very little on Facebook when it came to any interaction with anybody.
Right, but I'm saying, Trump does volumes. I mean, he will sit there for hours just pumping out 80 or 100 tweets at a clip.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, right now you get a certain amount added to your account because when we do the show tweets, anything regarding the show, it goes on your personal account, my personal account, the show account, and the station account. Yeah. So, you've got tweets going out you're not even putting out yourself.
I know. I've basically turned the keys over to my personal Twitter account. At any one time, you could get pissed off at me and start sending tweets to Chachi. What the hell's Chachi's name again? Scott Baio.
Uh-huh. You notice I haven't done anything like that, right?
Huh?
You notice
doesn't mean it doesn't. Oh, I know you have not done it. You have not done it. I totally get it. But look, I know I've pissed you off enough times, like today. Oh my! You were as bad as John Madden, for Christ's sake. You were. Oh, Christ!
Tastes great.
Yeah, well, I don't think I was. It was less. It was less of something. I don't know if filling was.
Come on, everybody knows that. Taste. I say tastes great. You say
I know the ad. I'm just not following the bait.
just you don't say you say tastes great.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
Do you feel better
Call
now?
and response. I do, but that could have gone so much smoother. I work so hard to get these things to make us attractive to people, and so people like us.
We better work a whole hell of a lot harder if
And
we're looking to be attractive to anybody.
you fight me at every turn.
It's the way I do
It's,
it. That's the way I roll, man.
Here's the way you roll. That, as they say, yes, that is true. So,
I am not an easy man to get along with. All you have to do is have a 10-minute conversation with Granny Annie.
I do 6 hours a week with you. I get it. And by the way, it's not, for those of you listening, it's not the 6 hours on the air. It's the 2.5 minutes combined for the 5 shows that he shows up prior to the show. Now, sometimes there are things I want to tell him or clue him in on. Like tonight, I did something special for him tonight that I'll bet you didn't notice, John.
Oh, yeah, actually, I did notice it.
What was it?
Will you shut up?
Tell the folks what you wanted me to do.
Well, that became my newest and favorite saying, and I think I mean, there's T-shirts circulating out there right now with that. I want one. I want one, and I wanted Ed in the worst way to put that on our cart, replace that old lead in that we have been doing now and it's a good lead in. Don't get me wrong, but that's been running with the show for 3 years now. 3 years that's been running with the show. It's time to freshen.
And what did I say? And what did I say?
You would put it in, well, you compromised. You said you'd put it in a rotation.
Right. And what happened tonight?
You started out on the rotation. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Not so much as a thank you.
You were too busy biting my head off. You were getting ugly on that side. I am surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't do one of these at me.
No. I would have because we weren't broadcasting, but.
Well, but I could still see it in the little windows over here on the side. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with StreamYard, besides the main thing that's going out, everybody who's on the stream, as it were, there's little individual boxes, so we can actually see each other. If I were to do, for those of you watching right now, by the way, the pre-show was going to be Jolene by Dolly Parton. Now, if you're watching the video feed, you see we've got a card up there right now. But John and I can still see each other in the itty-bitty little boxes below. So I had the technical difficulties card up, and John's watching me in this tiny little box just go batshit crazy.
Oh, Mike, I don't think I've ever seen him go that. I mean, there was smoke coming out of his ears.
All you had to do was answer the phone. That's all you had to do.
I was listening.
Nobody likes to watch mom and dad fight.
I don't know. I think it's pretty fun myself.
Family squabbles. Nobody's interested. I'm barely interested. The point is, I saved the day again.
12 minutes till ice. Oh, wait a minute. 11 minutes till ice cream.
Yeah, 11 minutes till ice cream.
Oh,
if you're what?
Strawberry.
I've already been
strawberry cheesecake with strawberries and blueberries.
Ooh.
Oh.
I'm not a blueberry guy, but I haven't had strawberry ice cream since I was a kid.
Oh, it's good stuff.
It is. I'm a vanilla guy. I always have been. But I would every now and again dip into strawberry. My grandparents would buy this ice cream. It came in a block. And it had, vanilla, strawberry, little strips of vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. And boy, oh boy, I was loving up on that strawberry.
So Granny Annie sent me out on talking about ice cream. Granny Annie sent me out on a little errand before I came home. I was to stop at the liquor store
Uh-huh.
and pick
And
up
drink up.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, I
I'll,
talk
I'll, I'll get mine to stay.
I talk a good game, I'm telling you, but it has been so freaking long since I have even as much as had a can
Yeah.
of beer, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I hear you.
I remember. I think I remember the last time you had a drink.
Do you?
I think so.
When was that?
I don't know if you want to discuss it over there. I mean, it was nothing really bad. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, but you just surprised the hell out of me. You stopped. You stopped in a little bar restaurant type place. You called to tell me about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I had a bit. That was the day with the cop.
yeah,
Yeah. That was the first drink I had had at that point. And again, kids and kittens, I haven't quit drinking. I just, and then of course, since March, there's been, you know, I just because the way everything had been going, I haven't really been drinking that much. I do love sitting in a bar, having a couple of beers,
I do too.
and and moving on. Matter of fact, my brother and I were talking about this yesterday. He was, you know, he mentioned about restaurants opening up to 25% here in New York. Was that horn on your side or my side?
It is on my side, and I am wondering who in God's name is pulling up into our driveway and honking the horn.
Ooh, they heard you were going to be on late tonight, so
Well, I don't know, but I'm
But yeah,
sure that Granny Annie's got it under control down there. So
I'll bet it is. But yeah, that's the only time I've drank actually since I've been to New York.
mhm.
And I really, oh no, that's not true. That's not true. When I in December when I went down to Lauderdale, I got together with Mike King and a couple other people,
Okay.
and we went out one night and we had dinner and a couple of drinks, and so yeah. But then again, of course, COVID hit, and so nobody's doing anything. And
Well,
I'm not a drinker.
You don't drink at home.
No,
Yeah.
no. No, it's just not a thing. Now, back in the day when I used to have people over all the time, I would always keep a couple of beers, in the fridge. I don't drink at home alone. I just don't. If I'm going to drink, even if I'm alone, I'd rather be in a bar. Now, if I got somebody over, we're watching a game or something, that's one thing,
Yeah.
that's different. But I'm not that guy that comes home and cracks the beer at home. I just find it distressing to drink alone at home.
Yeah, I know. I tend to have a tendency to agree with you on that one.
And that's there's reasons for it that I'm not going to go into on the air, but very valid reasons. But I mean, heck, we had a full bar in our backyard down in Fort Lauderdale years ago. We had our backyard set up. We did massive work. Well, not massive work, but we did a lot of work. Our backyard was set up for one thing and one thing only: at the annual Super Bowl party. That was our gig. I spent a couple of weeks one summer. We dug up trenches in the yard to run cable and electric and speaker wires. This is before Bluetooth and all that. We ran lines all around the yard, and we had outlets for power and cable TV and all that. So that, and every Super Bowl, I would beg, borrow, or rent a couple of big screen TVs and set them up in the yard. Again, the joy of living in Fort Lauderdale is that at the end of January, beginning of February, you can have a party outside, and we had lighting set up.
Usually pretty dry that time of the year too, isn't
it? Oh yeah. Except for the year that the year the Colts played the Bears down there for the Super Bowl.
And they played in Miami, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, it poured. I wasn't doing the party anymore, but my buddy Harry was. And it literally started the rain. And I'm not just talking drizzle. I'm talking heavy rain at kickoff. And it finally ended at the end of after the game ended. And if you, at one point I was looking at the radar, and it it was a weird weather pattern. It was covering the stadium, and then it just only made its way east a little bit. By the time I got up to Fort Lauderdale, 20 miles to the north, and but I mean solid dropping, pouring rain. We're all stuck in the house as opposed to being outside in his backyard and blah blah blah. And, that was I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, talking about my backyard, but yeah, no, we the only problem we ever had was a couple of years it would get a little cooler at night, but other than that, we had sweaters and sweatshirts for everybody. But yeah, my backyard was set up specifically for one night a year. Heck, the last I think 3 or 4 years we did it, I actually painted a 50-yard line on my lawn, my backyard grass.
Went all out. Damn.
Oh yeah. I was a nutball. So
I don't think I've ever. I think I might have hosted one Super Bowl party. To be honest with you, unless it's a team like last year, I was goo goo gaga over the fact the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
And I can remember as a kid, people around me, when the Vikings were in the Super Bowl, they had a pretty good get together. But I don't think I have ever hosted and or attended an actual Super Bowl party. If it's just two teams that I could really give a damn less about.
Yeah, the big problem for us, of course, always is a rooting interest. But by halftime you're half drunk anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter.
No, but the year that the Patriots went, they won 18 straight games and got to the Super Bowl. We had a rooting interest finally. We were all rooting for the Giants. Actually, we were rooting against the Patriots because we were all Dolphin fans. We couldn't have this perfect season. Spoiled. Couldn't have it happen. And it was great. It was the first and only Super Bowl I've watched with a rooting interest.
Have you ever been on a Super Bowl?
No. I've worked 8 of them. We used to get them, a pretty regular every couple of years. And the worst crowd we ever had was the San Francisco Niners. They were boring, their crowd, but the Colts fans were non-existent because usually what happens when South Florida has it, one team stays in Fort Lauderdale, the other team stays in Miami. And we had the Colts the year they were there. And I swear, I think I saw 4 Colts jerseys up and down the beach the whole week. Now, normally, like when the Patriots are in it, holy crap, they're there for 2 weeks. Patriot fans, they love their team. There's no question about it. And boy, I remember wishing, why couldn't we have had the Bears fans? They'd have been fun. Don't get me wrong. The Indianapolis people, the Indiana people were fine people. Good God-fearing people. But boy, they didn't party at all. They didn't show up until like Friday night, Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you had 40,000 Mike Pences is what you had.
Now, we didn't have that many until Saturday. We had 4 Mike Pences before that. But yeah, no, Super Bowl was always great. It was always a good week. And, we were fortunate to be in a position where we would get the game quite often. Although we went a stretch there. We went about 9-10 years without having the game. And
I tell you, when I asked you if you ever have bet on a Super Bowl game, I was living in Vegas for a while, and I remember specifically at the time it was the Super Bowl, the first one where they went kind of on their run. I'm not talking about the '85 Super Bowl against the Bears, but a few years later when they played the greatest show on turf. I put down a minimal bet. Nice odds on the Patriots as the dog. Put down $50 and won a couple hundred.
All right.
Woo-hoo. Well, that music finally means it's time to say bye-bye for this fiasco, better known as the Taxi Stand Hour, here on Radio TFI and on the Radio TFI network, and wherever it is you're listening to us from. So for my friend, confidant, chief technician, all around Scotty, Mr. Ed Van Ness, I'm John Shannon. I got the money.
See ya!
Yes, dear. Yes, I'm listening. Oh, I heard every word you said, honey. Yes. Yes, dear. Oh, I agree. You're right. Yeah, you're always right, baby. Yes, dear.